All right, now to our first conversation. Nigeria's garment and textile industry that holds huge potential, from cotton farming in the north to fashion houses in Lagos and Aba. But for many local manufacturers, the supply chain remains a bottleneck. Access to quality fabrics, accessories, and reliable logistics continues to shape the competitiveness of made in Nigeria apparel. Today we explore how supply chain constraints, raw material sourcing, and infrastructure gaps affect production costs, timelines, and export potential, and what reforms could unlock the sector's full potential there. And joining me for this conversation, we have Chekwa Sokafo, founder and CEO on Check, a garment manufacturer and entrepreneur whose firm produces garments locally in Nigeria. Good to have you in the show. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Yeah, I have something on to put on.
Sure. So I do too. I do too.
All right, so we see the data there. Nigeria's garment and textile supply chain often cited between $4 to $5 billion sector size. It used to employ over 800,000 people in the 1980s. Yeah. But now that's not the same. It's just a fraction of that right now. Cotton production, local sourcing, 60 to 80,000 tons, far below the 400,000 plus tons produced in the 1980s. The 1980s were so good.
Yeah, for the textile industry, it was.
For the textile industry?
Yeah, it was. And then things started happening.
Right.
Yeah. We
started shifting focus.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which affected a bunch of other industries, but it kind of hit us a lot in the textile industry, but hopefully there's something changing now.
Are we seeing any improvements? 2025?
I would say yes, and we are we could be a symbol of that. We can kind of show that there's something happened. So it's a nascent industry. Basically, we remember, like you just said, we kind of reminisce on the old times, but yeah, we can kind of restart, right? And that's probably what we're trying to do. So for example, and the whole supply chain is very important. For example, the black t-shirt I'm wearing right now, the cotton used for it was grown in the north in Katsina, and it was spun to yarn in Katsina. We bought the yarn from a factory in Katsina. We brought it down to Lagos. We knitted it into fabric. We dyed into a fabric, and then we cut, and then we made the shirts, and we sold it. So this shirt has not crossed any borders. So that's basically what we're trying to.
So this was made here?
Yeah, this was from the cotton to the production to me wearing it. We're all Nigerian.
I'm so tempted to feel the fabric.
It is, yeah. You can touch it.
I can touch it,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. It's this is
that feels
250.
good.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to. The story we're trying. We think we're trying to talk more about possibility. We can talk about what happened before. We can talk about what's going to happen, and us being able to. We used to be the garment factory alone, and then because of the challenge you say, there wasn't a lot of textile facilities that can give us the raw material. We vertically integrated, and now we're a textile manufacturer as well. So we are an example of the possibility of what it can be going forward.
Right, and definitely the main raw material that you rely on.
It's cotton.
That's cotton.
Yeah.
At this point, I guess you have to. How do you source?
So we don't buy the cotton yarn, cotton from the farmers. The ginning companies. These are people who gin the cotton from the cotton. The one we harvest, we gin it and then turn it into cotton yarn. So because we buy only the cotton yarn, the supplier kind of deals with that. They buy from the farmers. So a lot of the farmers in the north kind of take it to mostly Funtua area. And there's ginning happening there. And then after that cotton is ginned, the cotton lint, which is what comes out from seed cotton after ginning, is sent to different spinning factories. And we don't have a lot of spinning factories in Nigeria. But we have enough to kind of restart that industry. So.
Right, and I'm sure there are investors, out there, looking for where to stash cash, looking for the next best investment right now. Talk to me about the opportunities in this supply chain.
So there is a lot, and remember when you started, you said, hey, there's like a $4 billion, the textile industry is about $4 billion, back to back. It's not just from 1 year. If you look at last year, it's about the same. It actually increased a bit. All those products, at least a lot of those products, can be made locally, right? So that's an opportunity there. So I think where a lot of time we've made it a little convoluted is we spend a lot of time on textile and forget garment. The garment industry is actually closer to the customer. So, and then when you focus on the garment industry, it's almost market-led because they're closest to customers. So it's like a pull instead of a push. When you focus on only textile, you make the fabric and hope people buy it. But if you're a garment factory, you're already close to your market, so you know what the market wants. So I think that's where the change in how we look at it is. The potential is both in garment and textile, but the investors, for a quicker win, if I'm being honest, will primarily be in the garment area because the cash conversion is a little better there because you're closer to your customers. You can kind of change adjust to what customers need. So I believe there's a lot of opportunity there. If we start doing import substitution, $100 million, $200 million, it can slowly start even attracting more FDI to really play a significant role there. So that's what I'm saying. And then if you think about Nigeria alone, we have a very big opportunity to be a superpower for West Africa, right? Because we have a lot of capacity to kind of restart, not necessarily have to build a new factory. We can just restart what's available and become a very strong player in West Africa as well. So There's a lot of opportunity for investors to come in.
Right, I believe it was Fashion Week last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
In Lagos.
Right. Yes, Lagos.
Lagos.
Yeah. I used to attend a lot now. When I was in high fashion, now I'm like just in production, so I didn't make the time to make it because I'm just inundated in like production and textile. So I did not go. No.
Right. So looking at the industry, definitely we're seeing the government making a lot of moves in other industries. Mm-hmm. We're starting to refine our own oil.
Yeah.
Now, and we're seeing the government make policies to actually help the local refiners.
Yes.
At this time, what kind of policies would you like to see for the garment industry?
Yeah. So it's I think there's been we met with the minister a couple months ago. Came to our factory. That's we can see like this. The Minister of Trade is working on really focusing on textiles, so we can feel it. They've reached out to us a couple more times. We haven't felt that before, so that's good. But one of the things I think would be great to kind of push industry is we tend to kind of bulk cotton, textile, and garment. Maybe that used to be the case, but it necessarily shouldn't be the case anymore. Cotton is a different industry, and it's one form of fiber. People can use polyester fiber, plantain fiber. People can use coconut fibers. That's a fiber. So, but when you put just cotton, it seems like it's just one supply chain. So I think we should separate that to fiber. And then there's textile. The challenges for cotton is different. Cotton farming is different from textile challenges. But when you bulk them together, you try to use some other industry's problem to solve another industry's problem. And then there's garment, which problems are totally different from textile. So I think when we lump CTG, cotton, textile, and garment, I don't think we have very good clarity on how to solve the problems or make the right policy. So it needs to be separated.
So we should separate them, and if we put cotton
under fiber, it should be fiber. Because when you say fiber, now you think more than cotton.
Right.
And then when you do textile as industry, then that's a textile. And then there's apparel. It doesn't have to be clothing. It doesn't have to be garment, because apparel can be even fabric for car seats. Right. So I think when we think about it that way, we become a little bit more, we make policies because one can thrive independent of the other. Bangladesh is very big in garment, but not that big in textile. But if they call it textile and garment, then one might affect the other. So the garment can actually thrive independent of textile, although we want all to thrive. A textile might thrive independent of cotton or independent of garment. So I think that's one of the ways I think that could help. And then you can do quick trials of policies that work for this, and if that works, it'll affect the other. And you use this, when you separate them, you can try, the government or whoever's over the policies can sort of try these things, and there'll be quicker wins, much quicker wins. But if you lump them together, the problems become so magnified that it's hard to kind of solve.
Right. How are you solving the power issues?
That's a good question. If I'm being honest, like I said, I'm glad I said this before you asked this question. There's a power issue. That's a fact, right? It's about 15 cents per kilowatt hours, which is 2 times the price of like China and India. It's high. But if we have like a relatively high amount of, like if you're in a band there, you'll get like, let's say 70, 80 output. If I'm being honest, for the garment sector, it's not a problem. Because why? Because it doesn't require a lot of power. So when textile companies, because we're also a textile company, when we say the power is a problem, it is a problem, but a garment would probably tell you that's not my biggest problem. My biggest problem is working capital. A little different, right? So I think to kind of further help with the textile industry, I think there's a chat that we should at least, that's what the policy was saying, at least if we can reduce that to the textile industry to be about 7 cents per kilowatt hours, that will match the industry standard in Asia, so we can now compete at the same term. Because if they're making products at 7 cents per kilowatt hours, then we're already the cost of power is already 2x, right? So that's it is a problem that needs to be solved, but it's a textile problem, not necessarily a garment problem. So that's why an example why one problem doesn't really affect the other.
So for the textile,
yes,
let's cut down the cost of electricity.
Yes, for sure. That would be very helpful.
To help you guys, because I see the major import sources there. China, number one.
Yeah.
Then we have India and Turkey.
Yes.
And definitely that's taking out precious foreign exchange.
There you go.
That we need right now. So aside from how are you generating power? What other sources are you using? We know it's expensive.
It is expensive.
Being on bad days,
it is expensive.
Are renewables helping?
We've explored that, not yet, right? We think there's a future. That's part of our future, but for now, the cost required for that just doesn't pay off in a short period of time.
There's costs everywhere.
Yeah. So we have to sort of like decide to kind of stick with where. So good news is in our textile area, we have like 90% uptime. Right, so that's good for the textile. So we don't have any problem there. Then for the garment area, about 30-40%, about 50% uptime. So the costs are relatively high, but we have to focus on efficiency. How much product can we make in that 24 hours? So if we're efficient enough, then it becomes relatively bearable. But yes, the power can be better, absolutely, and we need help there for sure.
Right. So looking forward, what do you see? For Nigeria, we have some tax laws coming in 2026. Yeah. Are you nervous?
I mean, we have the right partners, the right investors that kind of helping us navigate through that. So so I'm not. I mean, we're going to have to play within the boundaries of the laws, but yeah, it's actually good for even our employees, right? People who make X amount of money less than they don't have to pay this personal income tax. So yeah, absolutely. I'm not nervous. I'm looking forward to it actually.
Right, because we did hear the leader there of the tax committee.
I watched it too.
Yeah, he did say some small businesses will be exempted. From
it's good.
Paying taxes and all of that.
It's good. We look forward to January 1st.
January 1st.
Yes.
Countdown. Thank you so much. It was great having you for this conversation. I definitely wish you luck in your industry. And also Chekwes Okafor is the founder and CEO on Check.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll find out what's playing out with the Naira. That's in a moment. Just stay with us.